the songwriting journey is always a very personal and a very unique journey, I think, for every single songwriter. I think that it's important that every songwriter that aspires to write music, to write songs, to compose, that they continue to do it, that they continue to sharpen that skill. It is such a skill that needs to be sharpened, needs to be exercised. And I think what began to help me in my songwriting process and to understand my own songwriting process, because like I said, it's very personal for each person, each songwriter. It's going to be a different process. It's going to be a unique thing, that a different zone they put themselves in. It could be an atmosphere. It could be a certain mindset. It could be a certain fine tuning that they have to be open to the song that their gifting leads them to, or that God wants to deposit upon their mind or their heart at that given moment. Because I've gotten songs, I'm telling you, I've gotten songs right on the spot in the most random of locations. I've gotten songs on the subway. I've gotten songs waiting for the train to arrive. I've gotten songs backstage at conferences. I've gotten songs while I'm driving. I've gotten songs in the shower. I've gotten songs in so many different places, that I'm always mindful of when I feel like a song is being deposited upon me, or it's coming, those moments of inspiration. So I'm very, I've over the years of so much songwriting, so much intention in doing it and getting better and just giving my all to it. I've been able to, I think, understand the voice within me that's in that moment where it's like that song is coming on, and I stop everything I'm doing. I begin to listen to it, follow the melody in my head, follow the words or the theme that it's trying to give me, and I just kind of go with it. At the same time, I sit down to write, and that's very important, just to do it. For every great song I feel like I've written, there's probably hundreds of songs that just went to the garbage, because if you look at my phone right now, I've got probably got like 200 songs that are no good, and maybe 6 or 7 or 8 that I feel like could be good, or are something special or unique, or might pan out to something. But it's to give yourself the exercise and sharpening of songwriting. You just got to keep doing it, no matter how bad you think a song you wrote. The last song can never discourage the next song. That's just the key. The last song can never discourage the next song. It's only a step to the song that you were meant to write. So, when I think back at early in my songwriting, and I've been in songwriting since like before I got saved, and when I came to the things of God, and when I gave my life to the Lord, I still continued to songwrite. Even when I wasn't worship leading, I would songwrite. Even when I wasn't even involved in music, I was songwriting. But when I really, for years, leading worship and being involved in music, when I really began to feel, like back in 2000, I think it was 2002, I believe, I wrote a song called "Revive Your Fire in Me," and that there is a gypsy church that sang that for years. They love that song so much, and I right there is where I kind of knew that God could use me to write music and to bless people, and that they could be a blessing to the lives of others, and they could really make an impact. So I never stopped writing from there. But I think the song that really began to be a blessing, you could say, at a level that began to hit a whole generation within our ministry, was the song "I Know I'm Chosen." And I was asked to write it, or I was asked to do a special song for a pastor's kid retreat. Pastor's kids. I'm a pastor's kid. Grew up in the church and grew up in the things of God, but I strayed away for a long time. But at the same time, I understand the heart of a pastor's kid. And they asked, I was going to go and be one of the mentors at the pastor's kid conference. And I was asked by Pastor Philip, can you bring a special song that would minister to all the pastors' kids, to the PKs. I said, yeah, definitely, I'd love to. And as I spoke to a few of my friends that were also going to do special songs, that were also pastors' kids, they're like, oh yeah, we wrote this great song, and they sent me the tracks, and they sent me the songs, and I was like, oh my God, these guys are writing songs, and I didn't think to write a song for this, right? And so I was just like, and I remember the day before we left, I sat down to the piano, and I made a real simple prayer. And I remember this is one of those moments where you're not in that songwriting mode, you're not in the songwriting spirit. It was more of like I got pushed, like who pushed me? I got pushed into it, and I remember I said a simple prayer and asked God to help me to give me something that I could minister to these kids. And I remember I closed my eyes and I began to think about my adolescence as a PK and how, people would always tell me in the church, like you're the pastor's kids. You gotta be the best one. You gotta be the most holy. You gotta be the one that's right with God. The one that's gotta have his act all together. And all these things, all these stigmas were thrust upon me because I'm the pastor's kid. And I remember I never liked that. That's one of the things that made me run away. So as I'm thinking about that, the two things that would stand out to me is that I knew I was chosen and called by God, and that I wanted to have my own experience and relationship with God. And those were the two, that was like the 1-2 punch that I felt in my spirit, that this is what this song has to have, because that's what I felt. And I said, these kids got to feel that. And I remember right there, I just began to play this real simple melody. And it just came out literally like almost word for word. And I remember it was just the chorus. I know I'm chosen for something great. Just the chorus. And I hear you call my name. And right there, I just said, yes, that's it. That's it. And I began to just kind of write it out. It had several verses. I had a bridge. And when I did it at the retreat, everyone was like broken. Everyone felt, I remember all kinds of young people, young pastors' kids and young adult pastors' kids. Everyone just fell to their knees. People were weeping, broken, crying out to God, lifting their hands, and just really broken. And I was amazed at the response. I did not expect it. And I remember that Pastor Philip spoke that night. And I did like a quick version for altar call. It was like a faster tempo and everything at that time. So I just did it for his altar call, and it was just really special, really unique moment. And after the service, they came up to me and they said, "Can we do that at the gang convention? And can you try to rewrite that song to make it more of a surrendering altar call song?" And I was like, definitely. And I felt the same exact thing they were feeling. I felt it. It was so obvious in the service. And even though I wrote it for pastors' kids, I think that every young person feels the desire to have his own experience and encounter with God. And every young person is called and chosen. And he's calling us to answer that call. So I condensed it, verse, chorus, real simple, and the bridge, and we brought it out. We debuted that song at a gang convention, and it was just an incredible experience. And until this day, thousands of people have always messaged me on YouTube over the years. Thousands of people. I got saved with this song. This is the song I look back to, like 10 years later. This is a song I always look back to and remember my first love with Jesus. And this is the song this is the song, and this is the moment that changed my life forever. So many people have been touched. People you're talking about, these were young people. These were people in their teens or young adult years, 20s. And these are young men and women that now are married. Some of them are in ministry. Some of them are pastors. And they always look back to that song. And I share that moment with them. And it's a great feeling. it's a great feeling, and it's an incredible thing to know that you touched a life by what the gifting God gave you. I'll forever be grateful for that. And that's kind of like the song that when I felt that the gift God has given me can really impact lives all around the world, I gave myself more to it. I continue to write, and I'm excited for all the new music and the new songs that God has been giving me over the seasons of life. Life comes and goes, and it's life hits you, you hit life back. But I'm excited about all the music that God has deposited within me and the music that is to come, because I know I'm going to write until the day the Lord takes me. I'm going to write. I'm going to write music. I'm going to write songs, always with the intention of blessing the kingdom of God, blessing people, and that people's lives will be touched, that people can have a real experience with God and know Him personally, know they're called, know they're chosen, and I'm a very grateful man. For any young songwriter, I would say never stop sharpening that tool. Continue to write. Just keep writing. Reminds me that like Dory on Finding Nemo, right? Just keep swimming. No, that's for you. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Because you're gonna get to that song. Even if it's one song that changes a life, that's the song you were meant to write. So just keep writing. You'll find it. God bless you guys.